I'm not always a fan of pop fiction, but there are a few books in here that qualify. When I read them, I'm usually very happily surprised at how digestible and fun they are to read. They usually don't take a whole lot of time, and that's really the way I felt about this book too. I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab in 2023. It was the last book I read in 2023. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wrote this about it after reading. I like this concept, and I liked being a part of Addie's discovery of her limits and her power over time within those limits. That felt both epic and relatable and made me excited to learn about the mythology here. I'm a big fan of nonlinear storytelling, and the delivery of the episodes in the story felt to me a lot like a pop fiction favorite of mine in The Time Traveler's Wife. However, that book felt personal and anecdotal, and the telling of Addie's tale here felt like historical fiction fan service to some degree. Like the people who complain about the Easter eggs in Ready Player One, I tired of its historical references, like the introduction of particular foods and technologies that felt like Deus Ex Machina woven into the background and setting for individual scenes. There are some words and images that Schwab clearly adores. The intensity and tumult of the storm, the moldering of infrastructure over time, and palimpsest? I should have looked up its definition after many mentions, but I promise I'll do it right after I publish this review. I forgive a lot of these foibles because the book is fun and thought-provoking. It's a wonderful quick read when it gets going, and if you like the careful what you wish for narrative, this is a great modern telling of that moral with a motivating hero journey to follow overcoming supernatural odds. So you get the impression that based on the way that I talk about palimpsest, that I would have looked it up right after I wrote the review, but I did not. And so coming back to it and reading it here on the channel now, I'm like, oh, maybe I should look it up now. I still don't know exactly what it means, but Schwab did use that word quite a bit. And for those of you who it is a normal word for, maybe you think it's silly that I'm calling it out here. But that sort of verbal redundancy is present in this book. I do understand sort of my quibble here with the what I call historical fiction fan service. It felt like a tool to tell the story, and that's fine. I think that makes it fun for a lot of people, but it was tough for me. I bring up Ready Player One because that's a complaint that a lot of people have about Ready Player One in the sort of pop culture fanboy nerdery that is Ready Player One. But that really connects more to my preferences. And so I actually like that a little bit better there. But this book is super fun and super interesting. The story of Addie finding her power and figuring out how to live with her power. And it is a power. It is something that, when used right, can be very effective. And she figures out ways to do that throughout history. It's a special book, and it's really fun, and it's really easy to read. It's very similar to the way I feel about a lot of pop fiction. I'm noticing on my list of books that are upcoming here, some of the ones in 2024, some of the ones in 2025, that there are a couple other pop fiction titles here too. And there were ones that I talked about in the past as well. So I'm probably going to create a playlist of pop fiction here so it's easily referenceable. I think a lot of people have read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I think it's extremely likable. I think it's a great read. It feels like a great read for a plane trip or a vacation or time at the beach or something like that. So my 3 out of 5 stars is actually a quite positive one. I think you will really like this book. I did also mention The Time Traveler's Wife. That's one of my favorites. The nonlinear storytelling in that book is very special. And this has a lot of that same feeling, but I was more emotionally moved by that book. I love books like this, and I will continue to pick up books like this with this sort of winding tale and interesting ideas that feel superhuman and mysterious. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I read it in 2023. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads.